Now I'm going to take you through what we call the vertical flow-through system. In order to run flow-through when the fishes are on the nursery pond, we perforate these sides. So once this side is perforated, we now lower the elbow to this side. The water coming, you can see the water. So by the time the water gets to that level, it started coming out. It's what we call the mouth-free automatic siphoning hose. Try to tell you how I can run flow through for this pond. I told you that there are a lot of farms I've visited, and sometimes their flow through, this is their outlet, this is where they are taking water from, and their flow through system will be here. This simply means that you are not running dirty water out for your fryers, most especially for your infant seed, that means your small fishes. And this really happens if the owner does not have any practical knowledge about pond construction. I told you on my mentorship list, I have a mentorship guide for pond construction. I have it for hatchery, I have for grow out, I have for launch, I have for feed formulation. This will take you through, if you don't know, this will take you through all this exercise I'm taking you through. There's a farm I visited, and such an error is being corrected, is being erected in that farm. So what really happened is that maybe in that farm they have already spent nothing less than 500,000 naira to construct that system. What this really means is that if they are not careful, they are going to spend 750,000 naira. That means half of the money and the full amount of the money to correct it back. I've done it in many farms that I go to, because one, there's no essence of you constructing a pond and you can't take off all the dirty, all the feces, all the ruminants away from your pond, so that your water from the pond can get easily, very, very fast. This will do what? This will allow your that means ammonia of the water not to rise. What constitutes this laterite we are really talking about? These are the major constants of boosting your laterite in your water. And most especially, most farmers sometimes do not get it right because of the high laterite concentrate they have in their water. So what this really means is that if you can't take out the particles, the dirty, the ruminants, the feces from your pond, if you can't take it out, this will automatically boost your water laterite. It will reduce your dissolved oxygen. There are a lot of things this will cause, and when your fishes are in that infant stage, they will automatically drop and dead. So you must understand how to construct a very good flow through system. If you are not using a recirculatory system that can help you to compact all those things, take it to a recirculatory bin, filter the dirty down, waste it out, and recycle the water back for the usage of your live fishes. So if these have done a lot of hard work for many farms, so in order to get it right, this is how you can establish the flow through of this pond. When these fishes are still very, very small, this is how we run it for them. But the water level is of this size because of one, we use it as our incubator and we use it as a nursery pond. So it's out of this size. So when they are of this size, this is what we do, is that we put a longer pipe to lower the water because of the rush of the water. We don't want the water to get too much rush. So we lower the water down so that the rush will not be eating the heads of the fishes. We can cause stress for them. So we run a very good flow through for them. And that is what we do by using what we call our, I told you about, wow, where did I put? I told you about my water filtration. So what I do is that is inside. I'm running it with the small seedlings inside. So what we do is that we put the mouth inside there. This is still the new one. If you really need this, is for the water filtration system. This can be used for your incubator to filtrate your water. If you have a little particles of iron in your water, this will take it out for you. If you have a little bit smelling water, this will take it out for you. If you are afraid of any microorganisms, any microbes, any kind of bacterial disease, any kind of infectional disease that can affect your fishes, this will take it out for you. This has, I showed you, this has what we call the sulfate, calcium sulfate. Is that what we call the zeolite? It has what we call the activated carbon. So if you needed this, make sure that you place your order for it. It's what we're using, making sure that we purify my water here. So what I do is that by the extension of this pipe, I will put the filter inside here and I'll open the water. Once I open the water, this will automatically have a very good flow through system. Note that I told you the two systems that we use in doing the flow through system. Now I'm going to take you through what we call the vertical flow through system. So this is what we call the vertical flow through system. Unlike this pond now, we have two pipes for this pond. We have two pipes for this pond. Maybe it's there. So what we do is that we have the shorter one when we just arched into it, and we have the longer. Yes, this is the shorter one when we just arched into it newly, as you can see. So what we just do is that in order to run flow through when the fishes are on the nursery pond, we perforate these sides. So once this side is perforated, we now lower the elbow to this side. So by the time we lower the elbow to this side, you can see that the water is coming out itself. So once the water is coming out itself, we now open the inlet and the flow through system. This will be constant and the water level will not pass this level. So by the time you visit this pond in another 3 hours, 2 hours time, you will see that everything is cleaned up. So that is how we run the vertical flow through system for this pond. And when the water is so low, we try to introduce this to it. So once we introduce this to it, by the time I put water to this level out, I can see the water is coming up. You can see the water, you can see. So the water started coming out itself. So let me just show you once again. So this what really happened is that this is this pipe that is here before. So by the time I want, like this water is of this level, now, you can see the water level, and I want to run the flow through for this water level. By the time I put in this pipe, you can see the water coming. You can see the water coming. You can see the water coming. You can see the water. So by the time the water gets to that level, it started coming out. So by the time it started coming, there's no how I will open this water from now till the thing don't come. From now till the end of the world, the water will never get filled. What really happens is that the water will just be flowing out and the water will remain very, very clean. To me, instead of you having a recirculatory system, if it is possible for you to have a very good source of water, and you can run your incubator like this can stay for nothing less than 100 years. So what you can do is that make sure that your overhead tank is being filled up with water on a regular basis, and open your outlet, and your water will be always clean every time, as we know that fishes love a very good and very cozy environment. This is just a sample. So I brought in this sample for you to really understand what we call by the horizontal flow through system and the vertical flow through system. So now, before I introduce you to my research for today, I want to advise you all, if you have not gotten the Naturite kit, these are the Naturite kit. If you have not gotten your copy, people have been ordering for it. Make sure that you get your copy now before it finish. This is I think we have only 4 left now. So make sure that you get it before this order get finished. And if you have not gotten my pH kit, this is the pH kit. which we need in our farm. If we are even it's like we take things very liberal in Nigeria. Every house should have a pH or a chlorine kit. I told you once again, what does chlorine do? Chlorine are substance that are uses to kill all the microorganisms or the microbugs in your water for human consumption. But my fear is that, and this is the tube, and my fear is that if you are drinking an acidic water, and as we know that acidic water is not good for us, so I don't know why it's not possible for you to check your water if you are not even a fish farmer. But if you are a fish farmer and we know that acidity kills your fish in mass, alkalinity kills your fish in mass, so why don't you have this to correct your water? So that is why, because I know those are the problem I do faces when I go around to farms. So because I know most people don't know about this, so that is why I try to make sure that I have this and I have this on a combo into a pack, and this is the shot, and this is the tube, and this is the tube for it. So make sure that you have a copy of this. Is sealed, and is a waterproof, so it's sealed. So it's sealed. So make sure that you have a copy of this tube, and again make sure that you have a copy of what I introduced to you as our automatic feeder. This is the automatic feeder. These are used, is placed, you can check my video, you place this at the tail end of your ponds, and your fishes will automatically comes to be feeding on them. So this is it. So make sure that you order. This is not expensive, but it's just for fishes of the prior stage. There may be just a week fishes or 2 week fishes. That is what this can take. And this is the pack of it. This is the one I'm using with other I'm using inside, but this is the pack if you need. So if you need, it comes like this. This is it, and you wear this into it. You can close up this, because this can be inside or outside your water, and you place it by the edge of your pond, and automatically you can see automatically is done. So make sure that you order for these two as well, and from then I'll be taking you through my practical for today. This is just the research I just discovered. I've tried it, and it's really working for me. I told you before about the 2 systems of siphoning that we have, and I already experiment it for you how you can run it, because not the 2 siphoning system that everybody really knows about. So I just did this so that for those of us that really don't know about it, those are the 2 ways that you can siphon your pond. So I'm going to take you through this. This is what we call the mouth-free automatic siphoning hose. It's a mouth-free automatic siphoning hose. So what this does is that, it will help you to siphon your water from your pond. In here we have, you can see in here we have a hose that can take a size of fishes, but you can, if your fishes are very small, it is advisable for you to put on maybe a net into this. Like this now is what we use for our hatchery. And let me tell you something, this net are 2 different nets. This has a bigger hose, while this has a smaller one. So instead of me now using a siphoning a Siphon net, this is what I use. I use this in my pond for 2 weeks to get the dirty out of the pond. So you can use this like this. You cut it like this, and you put maybe your rubber band to tie it. So once it is tied, how this works is that this will be inside your pond, as you can see, and make sure that your water level is above this. By the time you just pump it, so this will not take you through those stress. It will not take you it will not take you through those stress of you bothering yourself to so by the time you press it, what really happens is that the level of this water is not. Let me take it to where it has a very good level. Yeah. Like this point now, it has a very good level. You can see the water is filled up. So by the time, and I will take you to why it doesn't work. This is what we call the gravity. That is why it's not working in that pond. So by the time you place it here, you can see it's coming out itself. So this will take you the hustles of you swallowing fryers, of you swallowing fish. It will drop the hustles for you. As you can see, it's coming out. So this is what again you can do. So if you have, this is for small incubators, but if you have a very stubborn pond like this, you can as well introduce this into this. You can introduce this hole into this. Once it's been introduced, you can do your pumping. You can see it's coming and it's done. So in here, the water is coming out. So automatically your flow through system can be run with this without you doing what? Without you swallowing all the fryers in your pond. So this is how it works. And again, I would like to show you from this pond too as well, because like it's stubborn that time. So by the time you put it here into the pond, I told you what really happened then is what we call the gravity. You can see the way it's made. There's water inside this already, so it's already filled with water. And what you do is that you put this here. Instead of you to do this, if you don't know how to do it, to swallow all the dirty in the pond, to stress yourself, to stress your body, to let water enter into your head, because water have entered a lot of people's heads and they have already killed their system. So there are already problems already. So these are what you can use in order to save yourself from all that puzzle. So what you just do is that depending on where you are taking it to, just pump it. Because I don't want to stress this. Just pump it. You just need to pump it out and it will be